Man, y'all eavesdropping on conversation. RAEKWON is on Ebro In The Morning. Give it up.
Yo, what's going on, y'all?
Lord Styles Rosenberg
Yes.
here. Ray, what are we doing today? You're launching several things right now.
Yeah, you know, of course, all praises. This album, F.I.L.A International, is here. Finally, you know, finally, we got some product on the street, on some, you know.
This has been how long? How long you been working on this album?
I've been working on this album for probably like around about like 25 months. I mean, like 2 years or something.
You talking about it like it's a baby. You know how like a baby. It's 18 months old. You mean a year and a half ago?
Like 26 months right now.
Yeah, over 2 years.
Yeah, over 2 joints, yep.
I mean, let's talk about the level of features you got on this album, man. You got really people who all make sense, but really huge names. Obviously, Deanie and stuff like that, Ghostface, but 2 Chainz, Snoop Dogg, A$AP Rocky, Busta, French, Ross, Estelle. I mean, how good does it feel to know the place that you've carved out for yourself when you're able to get people of these levels to come through for you when you have a project?
Nah, it's you know, number one, it's a blessing, man. You know, just to, you know, rock with the new elite, and they give me a lot of love, though. I'm just overwhelmed, B. I'm just doing what a veteran should have been doing all the time, you know, just keeping itself out there. I think it's so important, though, you know, when you come from the 90s, that you know, you have to be knowing what's going on, you know. And for me, all them relationships right there is just basically because I'm knowing what's going on and I'm out there with them. You know, they see me, they know I'm a genuine dude. They just know what I'm about, you know. And when it was time to just make this album, I knew that I had to do something that would put me in the forefront with everybody. So I'm like, you know what? I want to make an album, and I want to go out there and explore my artistry for real, and not just bottle myself up on some, you know, just keeping it underground. This album was not designed to just be an underground album. You know, I always tell everybody all the time, like, you know, when I'm making albums, I try to switch the pages, you know what I mean? I don't want you to feel like this got something, this don't got nothing to do with that, you know. And I think just for this album right here, it's a lifestyle piece. You know, F.I.L.A International, that's an expression. I feel like we all got that in us. We all fly, we all international.
Well, not we all, but some people.
Yeah, I mean, you can fly. I see how you moving. You put your colors on and all of that.
I mean, I'm not as international.
Trying to front like you wasn't in the club last night with Amber Rose popping bottles.
Yeah, I seen him moving like a movie star. He caught me coming out the bathroom.
I was waiting for him. I was trying to leave, and I was like, I gotta say what's up to RAEKWON. So it was 2 o'clock in the morning. I was
waiting outside the bathroom's a little weird, bro.
Well,
when you say it like that, it sounds a little crazy.
It didn't. It wasn't like that. What happened was, my man Daytona was like, "Yo, Ray's upstairs." I was like, "Oh, I gotta see him before I leave." So I go upstairs. I'm like, "Yo, where's Ray at?" They're like, "He's in the bathroom." I'm like, "All right, well, I guess I'm just gonna wait right here until he gets out." So he gets out. I'm like, "Hey, Ray, what's up?" "Oh, I gotta leave. I just want to say, you know, I was excited about the album, man."
I'm coming out washing my hands like, yo, they good to homie. All right, what's good?
Yo, but the hands were washed, fresh.
Oh, nah,
yo, so Ray, there's a random thing that just popped into my head, but I was reading an article the other day about Drake. And it was talking about a party at Drake's house for Coachella, and how it's like RAEKWON was at the table breaking up weed or something like that. Talk about, I know that Drake was considering doing the Wu-Tang record and blah blah blah. What's your relationship like with young Drizzy? You spent a lot of time in Toronto, of course, that's his city. So what's your relationship like with young Drizzle?
Nah, you know, that's my homie though. You know, his partners is one of my partners. Like, they close and all that. So I mean, it's a respect thing, you know. At the end of the day, when I was in Toronto, you know, of course, all his people's around him. You know, shout out his whole crew, though. They always held me down. And they knew we was out there. And they was like, yo, come through. We having a party, you know. 40 is a good friend of mine, you know. You know, he's a good homie.
And these do you get the sense, like, a lot of people don't necessarily know this about Drake, do you get the sense from 40 and Drake that these are dudes who really respect the legends of the game?
Nah, they give it up every time, you know. They never change, though. You know, that's one thing I could say is, like, just meeting Drake, he always been a humble, respectful dude. You know, always embraced me, always told me, yo, whatever, you know, come through or whatever, you know. He always opened up the door for me.
So you a lot of like underground heads complained when Drake had the Wu-Tang record, that Wu-Tang Forever record. But for you thought it was
I thought it was respect.
Homage.
I mean, that's like me seeing Slick Rick or Kane, or, you know, not paying homage to that, you know. So I don't look at it no way. I thought that was live though, you know, for him to just name a record and really put us in his thoughts like that, you know, and I'm looking at one of the hottest dudes in the game, you know, he ain't have to say that, he ain't have to do that, you know, so that made the understanding of us even more closer because I knew his heart. I mean, I knew his heart from before, but
it's nice to see that.
Nah,
of course.
I mean, it's only right, man. Like I said, if I'm walking down the street and I see Big Daddy Kane, you think I'm not going over there and making it be known that, yo, you know what, yo, you had a lot to do with my life. You know, when I see the OGs, that's what I say. My first thing come out my mouth is thank you. You know, because at the end of the day, I really do appreciate the people that did it before me, and you know the motivation they gave us. You know, that's real life.
Do you feel like most artists, young artists? I mean, you have Rocky on your album. You work with. You feel like most artists respect the elders in hip hop right now?
They do, man. You know, I mean, it's just that everybody wanted to be reciprocal as well, and I get that. You know, it's all about the energy you give them. You know, you give people good energy, they, you know, it's only right that they give it back.
You mean because as opposed to dudes who have been around and have a tendency to maybe look down their nose at the new kids?
I mean, you know, a lot of that is speculation. You know, we got our reasons why we may feel like, you know, at the end of the day, they don't get it, but everybody ain't like that.
Right.
You know, and I think the first thing with us is that we go off of your energy. I know I do. You know, of course, we already know we 90s boys. I never run away from that. I'm from that beautiful era of music. And, you know, when it comes to seeing the young G's do their thing, it's their time right now. You know, when they come and they see me, they salute me, yo, chef. Boom, we look up to you. You know, they say everything that's right, where I feel like now I got to keep it 100.
How did you do what so many artists from the 90s failed to do, which was you weren't incredibly active for a little while, right? You had a period, you know, between after the third Lex Diamond story or whatever, you had a period there where you weren't that active. And then when you decided to make your kind of return, you made it so impactful that your brand retained so much value. People really struggle with that. Like, what was the secret to you making it mean something when you came back in with Cuban Links 2?
It was just get in there and do what you're supposed to do. Get in there and do it like you know how to do it. You know, one thing about the chef, I'm always confident when it comes to getting up in there and making albums. And, you know, the pressure, of course, that's always around the corner. But when you know you at that level of being a master in it, it's all about just showing up. You know, I think that was my thing, is just to show up and just give everybody what they expect. You know, I know when I work hard and I want to get something done, I know what it takes to win, you know, and I think that's what it is. You got to separate that, the winners from the losers. You know, if you're a loser, that means you just feel like you don't really care. You don't care where it goes. You know, me, I care about where it goes. You know, we've been getting a lot of money, and, you know, just being able to travel the world, I'm not giving that up. You know,
it's a good life. It's a good life.
Know? I mean, come on.
What is that work like for you now? Like, how many months of the year do you tour? Like, you know, because a lot of artists, and we had this conversation a lot, managing your lifestyle. You know, creating a lifestyle for yourself and then managing that lifestyle over an extended period of time. You've successfully done that to where you can put out an album when you want, tour when you want. Talk us through, like, how does Ray do that? And what's that lifestyle like?
Yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, overall, just being an independent artist for the last couple of years, like maybe like 10 years, it really gave me the ability to be really focused now, you know. And now that I have all that leisure to do what I want to do, I ain't got to hear nobody telling me, nah, you can't go do this feature, or nah, you can't drop this, or you can't do that. I mean, it just turned me into more of a stronger businessman, you know, when it come to just doing this right now. And the energy is just with the people I'm around. You know, they make sure that I get up and do what I'm supposed to do, you know. And I always tell them, like, you know, I don't got you here just for business. Like, you a friend of mine. If you see something, you see a flaw that I got, or you don't see my work ethic, speak to me. You know what I mean? I don't want to be around dudes that is just yes, y'all in me, and then really, because I tell them, if I lose, you lose. You know, so we gotta be clear, and it's just really about getting up and going to work, man. You know, I call it work, but it was fun work. This is the work I love to do.
Ray, we're celebrating the 20th anniversary of Only Built for Cuban Links. Can you talk about the documentary? Did you guys start filming it already? I know you had a Kickstarter program for it too.
Yeah, we started. I mean, you know, we about like 40% in. It's coming together beautifully.
How is the fan support through the Kickstarter program? I
mean, they just, you know, that whole thing was just really just to get them attached to it and give them an opportunity to base their opinions and thoughts in the project. You know, when I think about an artist that got an album that people respect for the last 20 years, it's like I don't want to go to a company and they telling me. I'd rather go right to the people who I know make sense. And I watch dudes like Rob Zombie do it, you know, a couple of other high professional directors and actors, and I thought it was dope just to have the people attached to it. You know, I don't care about the money factor because at the end of the day, I still got to pay bills. I still got to handle it. But more importantly, just to have the people attached to it and being able to allow them to hang with me and, you know, yo, check it out. I like that. I like. So
it sounds like you understand the value of the relationship with your fans.
Absolutely.
Like you've learned
the
that
connection,
whether or not I get paid on this one or not, it's about creating content that could keep me attached to people who love what Raekwon is.
Absolutely.
Do you can you talk, because you know today we're watching what's going on in Baltimore, right? And when you listen to Raekwon's music, you know, and you've always talked about where you started and feeling like you were a young kid without options.
No doubt.
And taking risks.
That's real life.
And doing. Can you speak to, you know, what you're seeing with the? I don't know if you've seen the news last night or today. It's just happened in the last 24 hours. But the riots are going on in Baltimore. They're burning it up, and it's young kids mostly who I believe, and we talked about today. We feel like they're kids who feel like they don't have options. And you know they like, fuck it, there may not be a tomorrow for us. In Raekwon's mind, in your memory, if you was to go back when you felt that way as a young person, what could you share with youth of today that maybe feel like nobody gives a fuck about them? They're coming from an environment that's basically like there's limited options, and the world is moving on without us, and they fucking pissed, and they ready to tear shit up, and go at it by any means necessary. You know, can Ray speak to that? Because you come from that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's an ugly situation, man. You know, and this is something that we all don't want to deal with, but it hurts. You know what I mean? I've been in situations, you know, where police brutality, you know, happened to some of my friends, and they just did what they wanted to do. You know, this happened back with one of our homeboys named Case, where he got choked out. You know, the cops they dived on his back and had his, you know, his body between his legs.
I think Meth told us that story.
That's you know, that was like Meth's right hand man. But yeah, it's just you enraged because it's like, yo, you can't do nothing, you know. So automatically your mind is like, how do I try to get back at this, you know? And a lot of times, you know, we go off of just impulse instead of really looking at it and saying, you know what, it's just going to get worse if we add on to that. You know, but in the hood, you know how it go. Dudes they only see but so far.
It's hard. Hard. But when what's around you is that limited, it's hard to see beyond that.
When you living inside there, it's like when you in the hood and you know that at the end of the day that's how things be. You just adapt. You know, and somebody hurt your peoples, or, you know, especially for something foolish that ain't even like, why'd you do that? Like, you know, what's the purpose of having tasers and, you know, certain little things, and you're not
if
really,
you're gonna go break somebody's back.
You know what I mean? If you're gonna do all of that, and especially y'all coming 3,000 deep, like, is it really necessary? So that's all the shit that be in dudes' minds when things happen. It's like, yo, y'all ain't have to do that. Y'all want a little extra. So, you know, sometimes everybody get caught up in the rage, you know, and it's sad because innocent people get hurt.
Absolutely.
And that's what bothers me, you know, is when people that don't have nothing to do with nothing gotta feel that. You know, us as people, we, like I said, you do something and not realize what you're doing until you see later on, like, wow, that wasn't the way to go. But that's that life, that's that hood life.
Do you remember, like I remember in the movie The Show, it shows Wu-Tang going to Japan for the first time. It shows you guys on the bullet train. It's one of my favorite
what year was this?
hip-hop moments. The movie came out in like 95. And it shows Wu-Tang very early in Japan. Mets talking shit and arguing with someone, Ray's yelling at someone. They're just, and it just made me think back to then. Do you remember any of the first trips seeing the rest of the world that opened your eyes to how much more shit there is than what you grew up? Because that must have been striking.
Oh, super striking, especially for dudes on the block all day, you know. But California, I say just getting over there, it was like, it was a new frontier over there, you know, palm trees and good weather and
bad bitches,
you know,
weed, and sun, and water.
Yeah.
And water.
Water?
Water. What are you talking about?
There's water here, but it don't really look like water.
Yeah.
You go
that
out
water,
there, you're
yeah,
like, wow, it's blue.
Yeah, man, LA is fly, man. I tell anybody, whoever go there, like, you gotta go see it though. But yeah, I mean, you know, just checking it out is like, wow, you know, the other side of the world.
But was Japan the first time you guys were out of the country together?
Oh, Japan, yeah, that was like our first super big run though right there. And you know, it was dope though, you know, anything to get off the block, anything, you know, we was down for it. But just seeing people and really getting that respect nationwide, it was like, wow, y'all really mess with us though, you know.
Also.
And that's a dope feeling though, when you could go across the world and, you know, people know your music. It's like a lot of things were just coming so fast. It was, you know, and we just was like, wow.
It dawned on me, you know, you talking and the things that are going on in Baltimore, and we had this conversation today, that transition when you go from hopeless to hopeful.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I mean? And just, you know, people who are out here protesting peacefully, they're hopeful. Mm-hmm. They're hopeful that there will be change, and they're hopeful, you know. And then you have people who just want to tear shit up, and they're hopeless. They don't believe that tomorrow's gonna come. They don't even give a fuck about tomorrow because nobody gave a fuck about them yesterday. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And they just want to tear shit up. And it's just, we live in a world now where you have more and more of the hopeless situations where people feel like they have to fight for their lives. And you know, when somebody just gives a little bit of fuck about you, it can transition you to being
somebody else,
hopeful, and maybe seeing that, yo, well, maybe I can. I mean, the little dudes come around always just want us to listen to their music or retweet them on Twitter or whatever. That's that little moment for them to be like, damn, somebody Rosenberg played my song.
That's right.
Slay played my song.
That's right.
Odds are Ebro didn't play your song. I'll probably shit on it, but I'm just saying, Slay and Rosenberg, you
hired people who did do it.
They there for you.
So we had a great interview with Meth like a month ago. People, by the way, people still come up to me about this Meth interview because he was just in a mood when he got up here. He just went off. You saw it? Yeah, he told great stories. Yeah. So one part that I found hilarious, I hope you find it funny as well, was we started bringing up Cuban links. He's like, Ray's always talking about Cuban links, man.
I know, he tried to throw a shot at me.
You know, his brother shot, right?
But you say you held me down. I was like,
well, I said, I'm like, but Meth, it's the best one. Like, so two things. One, did you know you had the best one? And was there ever friendly shit with your brothers? Like, come on, I mean, Takal was cool, this was cool, but y'all know you ain't got that Cuban links.
Nah, I never bragged about it because at the end of the day, they, you know, we was all one, you know.
And y'all contributed to each other's.
Yeah, you know, I you know, that was just my album because it was my time, you know. I tell anybody and everybody, you know, we made that album together. You know, all them albums, anything from back then to 97. 98, all that was we all was there. So I would never sit here and try to take responsibility. But I am the conductor though. We gonna keep that real.
The chef.
I'm telling you where to go. Your name is this now. You know, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, you know, I don't get caught up in that.
Well, actually, it's true because
you know you deal with that shit when you dealing with 9 members. It's like.
Everybody got their role.
Everybody role was playing. You know, they was playing it. So, nah, I ain't.
We also asked Meth about this part too. Is there any pressure that comes with being sort of the A-listers of Wu-Tang? Because Wu-Tang's a big crew, right? And we all know the facts. And I love everyone in Wu-Tang. I have mad respect for everyone in the crew. But we all know Ray, Ghost, Meth, RZA is sort of a different animal.
And Old Dirty,
rest in peace, of course. But for y'all, it's a little bit of a different animal in terms of the opportunities you've been given and some of the blessings you've received. Is there pressure that comes with that as well?
All the time. I mean, it's like a basketball team. You know, he getting more shots, so now everybody want him to shoot. You know, and sometimes dudes don't want to pass the ball. You know, it's just like that. You know, I didn't make it like that. You know, I think, you know, one thing about Wu-Tang is like, you have so many different personalities, and he might not be as outgoing as Ray, so that might affect his career. You know, I think when we was coming through, you know, we wanted it. I wanted it. I mean, I wanted to get out of the street and, you know, have a legitimate life. And it was just all about the work ethic, you know, and we was working. And, you know, like I said, after a while, you see who's working. And not saying that my other brothers wasn't working, they just wasn't as working as hard as the next one. And the fans is always going to, you know, pick and choose what they like and who they want. And we knew that from the door. Once we came into business, it's like, yo, we going to let the fans say who album should come. So even when Meth came before everybody, we ain't had no problem with that.
You knew it was him. You knew he was the first one. He was Michael out the gate.
We was down for that. We was like, go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I mean, for every record, even if it came down to what record, yo, it didn't matter if it was a Raekwon record shooting on first. It was just all about the movement. You know, I always been a team player, always. And, you know, after a while, like I said, certain records was getting more success than others. And then, you know, them big bags of money came in, and now the egos is up now. You know, now everybody is like looking at each other like, what? What you say? Like, you know what I mean? It's just something that you deal with a team, you know. Like I said, at the end of the day, you know, I feel like right now, if everybody say, yo, it's Ray time, you know, like tomorrow it might be Deck time. It might be Master Killer time. You know, it comes like that. So I just say at the end of the day, that's something that we always gonna deal with, is just that energy. You know, everybody's gonna have something to say.
Is there anyone that from Wu-Tang who you think was really dope, who
all of them is dope,
but who did? I mean, is there anyone in particular who stands out you thought should have gotten more? It just didn't turn out that they got the look they should have gotten. I mean, like, I love The Pillage, for example. I thought Cap dropped a great album. You know what I'm saying? But I think Master Killer is dope too, and he didn't necessarily have the album to hang his hat on that everyone knew. Right. You know what I'm saying? Even though they were all super dope, it was also a lot of music at one time. You know what I'm saying? And then you had the other affiliates coming out. You had Kill Army come out and Sons of Man come out and all these different projects. So was there anyone in particular that you were like, damn, that one should have got more of a look than it did?
I mean, I just wish everybody, you know, I wish everybody love. I don't sit here and say, well, yo, you know, it's what you put into it. You know, that's just what it's all about. You make a great album, you get out there and promote it, and you know, you get ready for what's gonna happen though. So my thing is, we all got the same ability to do what we want to do. You know, it's just who's willing to take it all the way there.
Yo, Raekwon is here. Ebro in the morning. What's the details on the album? What we got? When is it dropping?
F.I.L.A's out right now.
F.I.L.A's out right now.
It's on the market right now.
Are you touring with this? Anytime soon?
Yeah, but right now we just really finished this promo tour. So I probably won't be going out until like the middle of May or something.
And then Ray and Ghost are sort of doing festival Cuban Links anniversary shows.
Yeah,
as well.
July.
Okay.
Ebro in the morning, you're hearing conversation with Giggling, talking about Ghostface on couples therapy. Raekwon is here. Ebro, Laura Styles.
Ray, what were you thinking when you were watching? We loved it. And every time I've seen Ghost and his manager Caruso, was always laughing about it because Ghost was so himself. I've never seen someone be more themselves on reality TV. Did you crack up watching that?
Oh, definitely. You know, when he was doing it, you know, he definitely came back and he told me, he was like, yo, you know, I'm about to do that show. I'm like, word? You know, at first it was like, then I thought about it like, you know what? If that's what you want to do, bro.
Yeah, he's so supportive, right, of everyone.
I got you. I mean, because I know at the end of the day, it's all about keeping himself out there, you know, and that's what he wanted to do. But I was, you know, I was definitely, you know, his you know, the guy on the side, like, yo,
he was coaching.
Yeah, but, you know, but Ghost is, you know, that, you know, his energy is always natural, and yeah, I thought it was ill though, you know.
Yeah, this is something kind of silly though. But what did you think when you found out that Childish Gambino got his name from the Wu-Tang name generator?
Wow, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
Nah.
That's how he got the name Childish Gambino.
Wow, shout out that kid, man.
Have you ever messed with that generator? Have you seen it?
Huh? Nah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Nah.
So it's like it's an online thing where you type in your name. It's like you know, for fun. You put in your name.
People give you names.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Okay, so it's simple. So, you know, for a minute it was like popular, but he got his name Childish Gambino from the Wu-Tang name generator.
Wow.
And he's pretty dope. So I mean,
up on him. I'm up on him. Word. Wow, that's crazy right there.
Yeah.
And he's a good actor too.
Yeah.
I seen him in the Mean movie. He was killing it.
Yeah, and his videos, you gotta see his music videos, yo. His recent videos are crazy. So it is the anniversary. We're talking about F.I.L.A, which is out right now. The new album, which features Rick Ross, Snoop Dogg, A$AP Rocky, French Montana, Busta Rhymes, tons of people, Estelle. But we're also talking about the anniversary of Cuban Links, arguably, I mean, in my opinion, you can make an argument for it being the greatest rap album of all time. It's in the conversation.
True.
People throw it in that conversation.
True.
What's the... obviously when you go out, the record you have to play the most is Ice Cream, right? Correct? Is that the one you play the most?
Yeah.
Like if you're doing a club appearance,
Scarface, Ice Cream, Verbal Intercourse. Yeah, them three right there. Rainy Days, them four.
Whoo, Rainy Days.
T-Bro in the morning. RAEKWON is here.
Raleigh Fingers.
Raleigh Fingers.
Yo, you really were making up all the... because everyone came out with new nicknames on the Cuban Links album. That was the unveiling of many of those names.
So technically, RAEKWON is the original Wu-Tang
name generator.
Yeah.
I mean, I ain't make everybody name. I mean, you know.
You gave a few of them, though.
Nah, I ain't make everybody name.
But hold on, hold on. You said Raleigh Fingers on that one. Noodles.
Yeah. Noodles, Max Million. Tony Starks, Bobby Seals, Lucky Hands.
Why did everyone start Golden Arms? Why did everyone on Cuban Links have new nicknames though? Why was that?
Because it was another chamber that I wanted everybody to jump in though. You know, this was all about, you know, the straight family mafia style album. You know, we knew what kind of album we was making when we made it, and before that it was like, I always tell everybody, you know, yeah, I'm the chef, I'm RAEKWON, but on this one right here, this particular album, I'm Lou Diamond right now, I'm Lex Diamond, and everybody was vibing with me according to that whole, you know, persona thing, and next thing you know, dudes is coming in, you know, yo, Johnny Blaze, call me Johnny Blaze, call me, all right, and then you know, we look at it, be like, all right, true, I like that name, yeah, that's a go right there. What's your name? You know, just running around and just
But do you feel like that helped? I mean, because in a way that A, made it more entertaining. B, made the concept of the album have that much more depth to it because you guys not only wanted to have fun with it, but it gave
it's theatrical,
which made it amazing. And I feel like that's lost today.
Yeah,
like cats is afraid to go to that next.
Ebro, you know what just popped in my mind? I'm almost embarrassed to ask in case I get it wrong, but is Dirty not on that album at all?
Nah, Dirty wasn't.
Why? Because you guys were very close. Why is he not on that record? Was he just being dirty?
I don't even know.
Couldn't find him.
Yeah. Was it just that kind of situation?
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't that he. You know, it wasn't open for him to be there. But at that time, you know, like I said, Dirty was getting a lot of money. He was out. You know,
running around getting those checks,
crashing cars and buying them afterwards.
Eating glass on stage.
But yeah, you know that. It kind of like made me think about it though, but
he's like the only one that's not on it, right?
Yeah, he's the only one. Word.
And you contributed to one of the best songs on his album.
Word.
I mean, you had the record with you, him, and Meth is a crazy moment on. Not to mention Ray. Sorry, I don't want to gas you because you're here, Ray. But let's also not lie. You also contributed one of the best records to Meth's album, Meth vs. Chef. Your appearance is early, man.
That's my boy right here. He owed me down.
Rosenberg trying to start some shit though. I see how he's moving. He's trying.
But you already know. I do love. I'm not gonna lie, Ray. I take y'all, as you can tell, with the utmost seriousness.
Nah, of course.
But because y'all are brothers, I do love laughing at y'all when you fight. Because the Wu-Tang fights, you know, it never ends with anything but y'all hugging at the end of me like it's 9 brothers fighting. Exactly. So when they start kind of chipping at each other, I think it's hilarious. And all the product is so good that ultimately you're nitpicking, right? So like when you point out to Meth, like, oh, to Cal, you know, it was cool, blah, blah. But Meth also knows he was the biggest star at the time. So, of course, he went first. So, in a way, Meth kind of suffered because y'all didn't fully necessarily have everything in place yet. And he had to go first because Meth was scorched.
But he was still winning. I mean,
either way.
And it sold. And it went platinum. I mean,
he was up here straight up like, yo, when I did my first album, some shit got fucked up.
Lost records.
Records got
Get
lost.
out of here with that shit.
He was like, RAEKWON was in Hawaii. What did he say? He's like, RAEKWON.
His album was official, man.
Yeah, it was
it was mean, man. Don't get caught up in that.
For those of you just hear about it, RAEKWON is here.
No question.
recount for us, retell for us, because you hear rappers brag about the moment they got your tape, the purple tape. How did it become, and we've heard the story, but I want to hear from you, how did it become known as the purple tape? And tell us one of the a story of an artist that came to you that says that this tape really changed rap for them.
Yeah, I would say my good brother, my mentor, Busta Rhymes. You know, when he first heard that album, it was like, he was like, what's going on here? Like, these are dudes that I know that's cut from that cloth. And, you know, he definitely was one of the first dudes that I might have met that was at superstardom, that was so humble and so respectful, that came and was like, yo, what you did with this album right here, homeboy? And, you know, I'm like, all right, that's what's up, you know. But I'm saying in the back of my mind, yo, I'm talking to Busta Rhymes, like, you know, like the dude that the dragon, the rah rah, you know. But he was just paying homage, and you know, he was able to relate to that whole album and that movement. And you know, he was like, yo, but why did you call it the purple tape? And I'm like, we called it the purple tape because we always came up in the street where it's like, you got to separate yourself from other dudes. You know, you got dudes out there that's live wires. You got dudes out there that ain't live wires. And everybody is always trying to differentiate who's who. And then also just being in the street, you know, doing the things that we done at that time, it was always about, this is mine, that's yours. You know, so that frame of mind always stayed with me. And when I made this album, it was the same thing. This is mine, that's yours. You know, and when it came down to it, you know, after making the album, I said, yo, I want to change the color of this cassette, so people, because you know, we all cassette lovers, so we picking up everybody tape and all of that, and all the tapes is clear. You know, so I'm like, this is mine, that's yours. And I just wanted to change the colors. So next thing you know, I come up to the label, I come talking to Rifkin and them. First of all, I was telling them before anything, I don't want no videos. I was cocky, so I ain't gonna front. I was like, yo, I don't want no videos, because I kind of like seen like this album is tough. I'm like, yo, could we do a movie? So they looking at me like, a movie? I'm like, yeah, a movie. I'm like, I need a movie for this. And they was like, yo, you taking it, you really going somewhere that you really don't. I'm like, what you talking about? I'm like, this is going to be it, you know. And next thing you know, I start putting everything on it. Like, yo, I bet you a Benz right now that this going to be the one. I'm talking to Rifkin, like, and he like, yeah, you want? I said, yeah, let's bet Mercedes. If this don't go gold or whatever in a specific time, I'll buy you a Benz. And he like, yeah, but it gotta go at this time. So we like, bet, all right. And the next thing you know, I think the record went gold, I think in like a couple of days or something, though. And he had to pay up, you know.
And he copped you a Benz?
Yeah, he bought me a 6.
He did?
Wow. That way, Rifkin, deliver.
He, you know, and plus I was on his ass, though. Like, I need that. Don't ask me.
That is a fact.
Yo, and real talk about what Wu-Tang did for that label, and maybe need more than a 6.
Yeah,
a couple
yeah.
of 6s. Let's talk
Yeah,
about
but,
it.
you know, like I said, he definitely, you know, he paid up. And, yeah, but it was just the confidence that I had. But the purple tape thing came in because, like I said, you know, they was like, yeah, we could change the color. Then they came with 3 colors. They came with a red one, they came with a yellow one, and then they came with the purple. So I'm like, damn, I ain't even really got a big selection right now, you know. And then I didn't want to do the red because I felt like,
even though your logo shit is red, like all your shit is red and yellow.
Like red,
the cover,
oranges,
yeah, the cover. The cover just was ill because we was rocking silks and the colors made sense. But for the tape, it was like I didn't want to go with red. So I was like, yo, I like the purple thing. And purple to me at first was like, I thought about the girly purple. And I'm like, but this ain't the girly purple one though, you know? And then I started doing my homework on the color purple, and, you know, it's like purple represent royalty. And,
that's right.
You know,
the Romans wore purple.
You know, so I started looking at all of that, and the next thing you know, I was just down for it. And I'm like, yo, the purple tape, we gonna make it, you know. And the next thing you know, I didn't know that people was gonna pick it up and say, yo, it's the purple tape. I'm just looking at it like that was the color of it. But it was just to separate us from any other thing that was out there that we felt wasn't on the same level.
And the crazy part is, when you really think about it, that's the tail end of cassettes even still being relevant. You know what I'm saying? That's 96, right?
Yeah,
that's 96. The end. For the record,
95.
I'm sorry to admit this, but you know I'm honest about my background. I never saw the purple tape. I bought the vinyl because I was a DJ. My best friends who had it all had the CD. Never saw the tape.
You never had the tape?
I have it now. They did the Get On Down. Shout out to GetOnDown.com. I think they did the reissue cassette a couple years ago, and I got one.
How many you got left? You got any?
Nah.
You don't even have.
Was the vinyl ever purple?
No, the vinyl was black.
Purple.
I don't even got one. Word. I don't know why. I don't keep. Hey,
Cole, you got some. Yo, what about you? Don't have any T-shirts from the ice cream video, the Butter Pecan Rican shirts?
I live for that T-shirt. Stop playing. Look, I'm not even Puerto Rican. I was like, I'll take it. I just remember all the girls feeding for those shirts.
Chocolate
they just wanted
Deluxe.
To be, yes.
Yeah.
Nah,
yes.
my mom's be holding on to a lot of that stuff though. You know, like I'll go over to her house and she'd be like, yo, you remember this? You remember that? All kind of pictures and all that. You know, we had our moms in magazines and she be pulling out stuff though on me. Like,
shout out to Uncle Ralph. Uncle Ralph did that, right?
Yeah, Ralph McDaniels. Shout out that boy right there.
Put Angie Martinez in that joint.
Butter Pecan. Butter Pecan Rican.
Yo, and Daniel Hastings shot your cover, right?
Yeah, that's a good friend of mine. Shout out Danny Hastings. You know, this was a guy who, you know, back in the days, he did a lot of work with us as far as album covers. You know, he responsible for the 36 Chambers album cover as well.
Super talented.
He did multiple work after that. It's so crazy because I seen him maybe a couple of months ago, and you know, I was telling him I'm doing the Purple Tape Files, and I told him, you know, I want to go back and see some of these pictures from the, you know, the album, and he told me to come. He got a spot up in Harlem. He told me to come.
Yo, can I tell you something? I've seen some of them. Because I've been up to his studio. He's a good friend of mine. I've seen some of them. Super. You definitely should go back.
Yo, he had it in like an old safe and all that.
Yeah.
Like, stashed. I'm like, and everything was still immaculate. Like you would think after 20 years.
Extra images too, different images.
Yeah, just all different shots that we took, you know, from us at the doing the Last Supper shot to being out on the street and you know, by Delancey and all that. Just took me back, but yo, that's my boy right there.
Yeah.
Hey, Raekwon the chef.
Yeah,
is here. Raekwon, were you actually ever chefing?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm a
like
cook.
Action Bronson chef, or was you chefing some illegal things?
Nah, the food, you know,
just food. Let's stick to the food.
Let's stick to the culinary.
Let's
art.
stick to the food.
Nah, you know, I mean, never was a cook like that, man. I was just a marvelous.
But the metaphor for cooking and chefing, since the Raekwon the chef, you birthed that. Before you, nobody had talked about it like that, about being on the stove and that metaphor like that. Like
I was just speaking for them, you know, the dudes that come from that world. And you know, like I said, you know, that's something I'm gonna never run away from my past, you know, just being out there in the streets trying to make it and, you know, just trying to get out, man. One thing about Staten Island is like there's really nothing there.
That's right.
You know, and it forces you to go down that path because we have no, you know, nothing positive out there that we could grasp to. I remember being a kid and playing baseball, and you know, even back then it was like it was so little to be able to just find something that you could do that's going to keep you away from the trouble. But you know, being that Staten Island is so small and not really having a lot of things in the ghetto at that time where we could say, yo, a YMCA, a boys club, we didn't have none of that, you know. So everything that was in front of us was what we respected, you know. Just coming up in the street, you know, just trying to make it and trying to have something in your pocket, you know. That's what it was about for us, though, man. Just
you guys used to have a Wu-Tang Family Day in Staten Island too, right?
Yeah.
Do you guys still do that?
Of course. I mean, you know, now being that Staten Island is so strict, because it's hard to get a lot of things done out there because you got to get permits and certain things, and it ain't easy though. Right. You know, they make it kind of tough though for us.
Raekwon, we appreciate your time, man. I know you got a busy schedule, and for the fans, man, we got some Purple Tape plans.
Yeah,
we got some Purple Tape plans.
Oh, really?
Listen, man, Ray didn't even know about it. I was working behind it. I didn't want Ray to know, because you know, if you let Ray know too much too soon, he gets hyped. So you gotta keep stuff away from him. Right? You gotta keep it away from him for a minute. But appreciate you, bro.
Nah, likewise, man. Appreciate y'all too. Through the years, y'all always held the W down. So that's the most important thing, man.
F.I.L.A is out right now.
Yeah.
This shit sounds great.
Play it loud.
RAEKWON, the chef, thank you, man. Give it up,
Thanks,
man.
Ray.
Salute.
F.I.L.A,
Salute.
let's go.
Daddy Kane. You think I'm not going over there and making it be known that, yo, you know what, yo, you had a lot to do with my life. You know, when I see the OGs, that's what I say. My first thing come out my mouth is thank you. You know, because at the end of the day, I really do appreciate the people that did it before me, and you know the motivation they gave us. You know, that's real life.
Do you feel like most artists, young artists? I mean, you have Rocky on your album. You work with him. You feel like most artists respect the elders in hip hop right now?
They do, man. You know, I mean, it's just that everybody wanted to be reciprocal as well, and I get that. You know, it's all about the energy you give them. You know, you give people good energy, they, you know, it's only right that they give it back.
You mean because as opposed to dudes who have been around and have a tendency to maybe look down their nose at the new kids?
I mean, you know, a lot of that is speculation. You know, we got our reasons why we may feel like, you know, at the end of the day, they don't get it, but everybody ain't like that.
Right.
You know, and I think the first thing with us is that we go off of your energy. I know I do. You know, of course, we already know we 90s boys. I never run away from that. I'm from that beautiful era of music. And, you know, when it comes to seeing the young G's do their thing, it's their time right now. You know, when they come and they see me, they salute me, yo, chef. Boom, we look up to you.
Club last night with Amber Rose popping bottles.
Yeah, I seen him moving like a movie star. He caught me coming out the bathroom.
I was waiting for him. I was trying to leave, and I was like, I gotta say what's up to RAEKWON. So it was 2 o'clock in the morning. I was
Waiting outside the bathroom's a little weird, bro.
Well,
When you say it like that, it sounds a little crazy.
It wasn't like that. What happened was my man Daytona was like, yo, Ray's upstairs. I was like, oh, I gotta see him before I leave. So I go upstairs. I'm like, yo, where's Ray at? They're like, he's in the bathroom. I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm just gonna wait right here until he gets out. So he gets out. I'm like, hey, Ray, what's up? Oh, I gotta leave. I just want to say, you know, I was excited about the album,
I'm
man.
coming out washing my hands like, yo, they go to homie. All right, what's good?
Yo, but the hands were washed, fresh.
Oh, nah,
Yo, so Ray, there's a random thing that just popped into my head, but I was reading an article the other day about Drake. And it was talking about a party at Drake's house for Coachella and how it's like RAEKWON was at the table breaking up weed or something like that. Talk about, I know that Drake was considering doing the Wu-Tang record and blah, blah, blah. What's your relationship like with young Drizzy? You spent a lot of time in Toronto, of course, that's his city. So what's your relationship like with young Drizzle?
Nah, that's my homie though. You know, his partners is one of my partners, like they close and all that. So I mean, it's a respect thing, you know. At the end of the day, when I was in Toronto, you know, of course, all his people's around him. You know, shout out his whole crew, though. They always held me down. And they knew we was out there. And they was like, yo, come through. We having a party, you know. 40 is a good friend of mine, you know. He's a good homie.
And these are, do you get the sense, like a lot of people don't necessarily know this about Drake, do you get the sense from 40 and Drake that these are dudes who really respect the legends of the game?
Nah, they give it up every time, you know. They never change, though. You know, that's one thing I could say is, like, just meeting Drake, he always been a humble, respectful dude. You know, always embraced me, always told me, yo, whatever, you know, come through or whatever, you know. He always opened up the door for
So
me.
you a lot of like underground heads complained when Drake had the Wu-Tang record, that Wu-Tang Forever record. But for you thought it was...
I thought it was respect.
Homage.
I mean, that's like me seeing Slick Rick or Kane or, you know, not paying homage to that, you know. So I don't look at it no way. I thought that was live, though, you know, for him to just name a record and really put us in his thoughts like that, you know. And I'm looking at one of the hottest dudes in the game. You know, he ain't have to say that. He ain't have to do that, you know. So that made the understanding of us even more closer because I knew his heart. I mean, I knew his heart from before, but...
It's nice to see that.
Nah,
of course.
I mean, it's only right, man. Like I said, if I'm walking down the street and I see Big Daddy.
Man, y'all eavesdropping on conversation. RAEKWON is on Ebro in the morning. Give it up.
Yo, what's going on, y'all?
Lord Styles Rosenberg
Yes.
here. Ray, what are we doing today? You're launching several things right now.
Yeah, you know, of course, all praises. This album, F.I.L.A International, is here. Finally, you know, finally. We got some product on the street, on some, you know.
This has
a
been
lot of
how
work
long?
done.
How long you been working on this album?
I've been working on this album for probably like around about like 25 months. I mean, like 2
So
years or something.
you talking about it like it's a baby. You know how like a baby. It's 18 months old. You mean a year and a half?
Yeah,
No,
like
18
26
months.
months right now.
Yeah, over 2 years.
Yeah, over 2 joints, yeah.
I mean, let's talk about the level of features you got on this album, man. You got really people who all make sense, but really huge names. Obviously, Deanie and stuff like that, Ghostface, but 2 Chainz, Snoop Dogg, ASAP Rocky, Busta, French, Ross, Estelle. I mean, how good does it feel to know the place that you've carved out for yourself when you're able to get people of these levels to come through for you when you have a project?
Nah, it's you know, number one, it's a blessing, man. You know, just to, you know, rock with the new elite, and they give me a lot of love though. I'm just overwhelmed, B. I'm just doing what a veteran should have been doing all the time. You know, just keeping itself out there. I think it's so important though. You know, when you come from the '90s, that you know you have to be knowing what's going on. You know, and for me, all them relationships right there. It's just basically because I'm knowing what's going on and I'm out there with them. You know, they see me, they know I'm a genuine dude. They just know what I'm about, you know, and when it was time to just make this album, I knew that I had to do something that would put me in the forefront with everybody. So I'm like, you know what? I want to make an album and I want to go out there and explore my artistry for real and not just bottle myself up on some, you know, just keeping it underground. This album was not designed to just be an underground album. You know, I always tell everybody all the time, like, you know, when I'm making albums, I try to switch the pages, you know what I mean? I don't want you to feel like this got something, this don't got nothing to do with that. You know, and I think just for this album right here, it's a lifestyle piece. You know, fly international, that's an expression. I feel like we all got that in us. We all fly, we all international.
Well, not we all, but some people.
Yeah, I mean, you getting fly. I see how you moving. You put your colors on and all of that.
I mean, I'm not as international.
Trying to front like you wasn't in the